So I wanted to make another video. I remembered when I went back to the homestead where the clairvoyant doctor lived that I started digging in the ground because I saw this emerald green and I thought it might be something interesting. And I'm like, oh, it's just a Humpty Dumpty chip bag. And then later it hit me about Humpty Dumpty. Um, we all know the rhyme, Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall, and all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. And thus was the creation of the universe. We were taught in science class that all matter was compressed into this tiny, tiny little dot, smaller than the period at the end of the sentence. And then boom, and here we are. God has scattered himself because he wants to experience devilry and he wants to experience life from every aspect. And when we start to see how connected we are, it starts happening in ways of synchronicity, and you can make it happen through your belief. And all the old religious traditions are correct in the strength of your faith and the strength in asking. After my awakening, I went through this intense Christian revival stage and ended up annoying a lot of people who were taught more in Buddhist traditions or came from more atheist families. But luckily, if people are interested in non-duality, they're pretty forgiving and understanding of everything. And the level of understanding I had for the religion I was raised in was just suddenly fulfilled. And I had to go to a couple funerals during this stage, and I just... the scriptures that were read just made me grin. I hope nobody saw me. And I remember the end, it was my grandmother's burial. And it happened on the full moon. And at the end of it, I just, the pastor said the prayer, and his prayer was right on. But his entire, for some reason in Baptist, every single funeral is a call to be saved to people. Like, they think that they've gotten a whole bunch of heathens together because this lady's family, they weren't all saved. So instead of like talking about her memory and honoring who she was and the wonderful person she was, we're going to put the fear of God in you so that you won't end up in hell. But some of the things that they say in the scripture that they quote is just right on. And I could tell during the memorial, he went on about Thoreau, Henry David Thoreau, and how Thoreau wasn't saved because he believed in the earth as a separate kind of thing. And I could tell that he was just struggling with himself throughout the entire thing. And but at the end of the prayer, I remember his prayer was just right on. And so I remember like putting my hands together and just like looking like this. And then I went up to him and I told him that Thoreau was right, because Jesus said that turn over a stone and there I am, and that the earth and everything is one. And he said, well, that's not from the canons, and that's not right, because the Baptists reject the Gospel of Thomas, which is in the Catholic Bible. It's in the Apocrypha, and it's a really amazing non-dual book you should read. And there's a lot of, there's a lot of Humpty Dumpty pieces of the puzzle scattered across in all religions. And if you've only researched Buddhism, or if you've only listened to Christianity, I didn't even know very little about Hinduism. And there's insights and Easter eggs scattered everywhere, not just in religions. And that's something I preach constantly. Don't have your nose in the air. You can learn something. You can have an insight by someone's litter on the side of the road or somewhere, an old empty Humpty Dumpty chip bag. So our problem is that we think we're above things, and we don't think that things are fine as they are and are happening for us as they are. And you know, if you are God, you have chosen this experience today, and you've chosen the journey that you're experiencing because it's a beautiful thing in itself. And there's no, you know, like I live somewhere where there's 4 seasons, and appreciating all 4 seasons can be tough because we always want. I love, my favorite is probably early September, late August. It's just like the grand finale. It's just when you can harvest everything from the garden. There's blackberries to pick, and just everything is it's the weather is cool and the bugs have died down, and it's just a gorgeous time of year. But that everything is just like a cycle, and everything is flowing, and choosing a certain point along the way, or saying there's a journey, or saying there's a year, all these sort of things kind of dissolve into what we are, into consciousness. And this is the thing that we're stripping away everything but this, that this is what our identity, our false identity, to see who we truly are. And things arise out of this space anyway. And so loving both what you are as nothingness and loving what arises is where it's at. So what do I say? Is where is it's at. There is no at. Eventually all truths sound pretty stupid when you speak them, don't they? I hope that my spiritual YouTube channel will be the funniest one on YouTube. But it's not very funny sometimes, is it? When you're talking about life and death and not truly existing, and there being no difference between good and bad, it gets pretty serious pretty quick. But there is no serious and there is no funny. Okay, I'm getting really tired of talking about non-duality now. It's annoying as fuck, isn't it? Have a good day. I love you guys. Try to embody love and acceptance for who you are, and try to embody passion and be okay with whatever arises. Sometimes we're downright exhausted, and sometimes we're, you know, there with great energy to be somebody who saves the show and who inspires others. And there's nothing wrong with either one, and there's nothing wrong with where you are right now. So accept it. Take a deep breath. I love you.